This track's just night and day difference than what it was earlier. It was really wet, and it's been changing all day long. It's going to be a lot different for them. Track soil, and they're going to have to predict the future. So hopefully they got the right setup. Go racing.
They do have one sight lap, but how much do they really know? Are the first laps of this race even going to be a bit of an education?
Yeah, well, mainly just setup-wise. So, yeah, because it was so different. Tire setup, suspension. They're going to find out here about 15 seconds if they did or not.
Yep, can't change it now because the revs are up. Gates down. Oh, and Hymas and Deegan almost coming together off the start. Someone edging in from the outside. I believe that's the 511 of Nick Romano. Hymas on his right. And then Ryder DeFrancesco on the inside going to take the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be chaos this first lap. Yeah, they had a sight lap, so they kind of know where it's at, but the track's still a lot different than what it was on practice, still wet. Looks like Hayden Deegan was able to make his way around Hymas. I saw him late off the gate. Chance goes back up the inside. Nice to see a pass.
And I don't even know where the 29 of Ty Masterpool came from, but he's trying to get the lead from Ryder D, and he has it.
Nice move by Ty. He's been fast. He was almost the fastest qualifier today, so nice to see him out front. Let's see what he can do with it.
That new Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki ride was a privateer with HBI Racing when the season began. He's filling in. And now Ryder D going back after him.
Yeah, we got to battle for the lead. They know it's just like NASCAR. It's important to get track position, that clean air for these guys, because as you can tell, they did a little bit of work. There's a lot of mud still on this track, and I think we lost Hayden Deegan.
Yeah, I do not see him in the top 20 right now on timing and scoring. Hymas in third with the blue jersey, going to work on DeFrancesco.
Yeah, Hayden was right behind. He was battling with Chance, so he must have went down. But when you talk about confidence, it's going to be huge confidence, and Chance Hymas makes his way up. Ryder D, nice pass, and that's all from last weekend, his belief.
You think that's it? It's a building block of getting that moto win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the confidence leads anything, and now you're starting to see this kid, and I wouldn't be shocked if he's able to get around and route like he did last weekend. The track's going to be kind of the same as far as the line setup, and he overjumped that a little bit.
Yeah. But it's even that confidence when he's experimenting and sending it like this. Oh, well, look, he's about to take the lead here, James.
Well, there you go. There he goes. Let's see if he can get that inside. Now they cleaned him up. Nice move. But yes, that's absolutely from last weekend. And it's got his teammate, Joe Shimoto, making his way up in fourth place.
So the kid out of Idaho just turned 19 when this championship began a month ago, looking to get 2 consecutive moto wins as they hook back out of the start straight, completed lap for the first time.
Well, Chance got a good feeling from what happened last year here. He was able to lead some laps, but now what he knows is that he can ride this thing out. He was able to accomplish that, and for a rookie, as we're watching Hayden Deegan trying to make his way up on the bottom box, for a rookie or a youngster in Chance, it's the unknown, and now he did it, and going leading wire to wire has been pretty good, as these guys are still struggling trying to get a good run. Actually, we got Joe Shimoto.
Oh, 2 riders just went down in that bottom box, and Deegan just missed them both, and I believe was able to survive that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Hayden Deegan and all that stuff, and then I watched Joe Shimoto make his way up, trying to get around Ty Masterpool for second, so almost had the Hondas 1 and 2, but yeah, Hayden's got to try to avoid all that, trying to be aggressive in the first couple laps, but while also being patient, and then you got riders going everywhere, but I believe Hayden went down that first lap.
Well, he must have, because we had him in 14th place, now making up a few spots with those riders tipping over. As Hymas leads Masterpool, DeFrancesco, and you said Joe Shimoda's on a roll here, and he's making moves as well.
And we're starting to see some of the track. Some parts of the racetrack is dry, as you can see right here. We're looking at Hayden Deegan on the bottom, and then you got the part where they just worked on is super loose. So depending on what tire setup these guys run, they might struggle on certain parts of the racetrack. If they went more of a hard-packed tire, the tire's going to fill up. They're going to lose a lot of traction. But nothing so far is going wrong for this number 48. It's been 2 weekends in a row, 2 motos in a row. He's been out front.
Yeah, so Hymas looking to set sail. We'll check back in on Deegan here, who's up to 11th. And I believe that would be Jalek Swoll, Pierce Brown, who he's dealing with right now.
Well, Hayden's been really good all year. We saw him at that first moto at Hangtown come up from the back of the pack. Otherwise, he's been up front. So I think he should feel pretty confident and knowing that he'll eventually get up there. Now, for him, it's just got to avoid the chaos and guys going down. As you can see, going down this steep downhill, there's a lot of ruts, and he's got to avoid big ruts, and then obviously other guys going down in front of him as well.
So he's around Shock, working on Swole. Let's show you the start again.
Yeah, it looked like Hayden, he got an okay jump in, and he gets close with Chance right there. Just riders, guys are pushing Chance back to the right, and they kind of come in. So I thought Hayden was a little bit farther up, but maybe that was a different rider that we were watching. Nonetheless, he's starting to make his way up.
Yeah, he's mid-pack then, and now up to 10th, and working on Swole for 9th. There's Shock right behind Deegan. Swole's got that high-vis color helmet, 33. Oh, Deegan's going to use the left side inside here.
Yeah, that's what I love about this place. As you saw, Deegan went on the outside. It looked like he had to pass, but the track crew did a great job putting obstacles. Gives these guys a lot of opportunity, and as the track dries out, you're going to see this as Hayden almost goes off the racetrack right there.
Yeah, but he almost went down, but he's also making up ground in a hurry. Let's send it to Katie.
I was talking to his mechanic, Brent Duffy, and he said Deegan has grown up a lot since last year. This year, he knows what he can do. He knows what he's capable of. He also knows, guys, that he can sprint for 35 laps plus a few, and he knows he can beat these other guys. So as he's navigating all of this, that's the confidence he's built over the last year, and he knows he can get the job done.
Thanks, Katie. But his average start this year is 2.5. So this would be maybe only the second moto so far of the 6 we've had. 7 now, where he's seen him have to work his way forward. He did do it at Hangtown, and he's working his way up in a hurry.
Yeah, and Hangtown, the rider that he had to run down was the guy who's leading, and Chance Hymas said that first. The only time he was outside the top 5 off the start. So Hayden, again, as you can see, there's mistakes being made, but that really just comes down to the track. But what he was able to do, he's going to rely on that experience from Hangtown and feel pretty comfortable if he can stay up and see if he can hunt down these guys.
Well, the next rider he's going to get to is his old amateur rival, Casey Cochran, who just turned pro this year. And we have a battle, Shimoda catching Masterpool. This is the 29 and a 30 for second, and you see the leader, Hymas, up ahead.
Yeah, you can see these ruts right here. This section's always been really tricky because all the water goes down to that bottom part, and it's a hard base, but it has a lot of soft. So, again, Joe's starting to see his teammate and Chance starting to get away. Ty thinks it might be happening a little quick for him, or Chance is on a good pace. Either way, Joe's trying to get around them.
Nice bounce back for Shimoda at the moto podium last week. He's trying to run Deegan down toward the end, and with Hymas winning that moto, things definitely looking up. Yeah, the Honda HRC riders.
Yeah, Joe's always had some pace. His biggest thing has been getting off the gate in the early part of the moto. So now as we're watching Tom Vial starting to close up on Joe as well. As you can see, when guys get caught up behind somebody else, it closes the gap. But yeah, Joe, we know he's going to be strong at the end of the race, so this is a great start for him. And let's see if he can regroup and go after Ty Masterpool again.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Shimoda likes the bike set up quite a bit different than the other riders. That motorcycle had won the title the last 3 years in this class with Jet and then Hunter Lawrence. But you can't just roll that bike underneath Joe. He has different wants, and they're figuring that out. And riding well right now in third. Watch for Vial behind him.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for Joe, like he was on that Mitch Payton Kawasaki, which is a completely different motorcycle. So although this bike has won the titles last few years, and you have the dominance of, both Jet Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence, it's a completely different motorcycle. So of course, Joe's going to take a little bit of time.
Watch Casey Cochran in front of Deegan here, left side with that light blue jersey. He's going to go for a big ride. Whoa!
Yeah, that's an understatement. That is a big ride.
Oh, look out.
Man, luckily that's the soft part of the soft part of the track where he went down, but that was a huge one. Almost looked like that electric motorcycle that we were looking yesterday.
Yeah, that was remote control. That was okay.
Yeah.
Cochran looks like he's all right. He's checking in the mechanics area.
Yeah, it's always good to see a rider get up, and Joe makes a mistake as he gets off balance right there and loses a little bit of time. But yeah, that was a huge, and that hill is super steep. You can't tell on TV, but that was a huge get off for Casey.
Yeah, I think when you see that motorcycle tumbling, that really illustrates what goes down is going to continue to go down. These hillsides much steeper than you can tell watching the footage here. See Cochran, he's going to go back out.
Oh, we tough. We going to back out there.
Respect.
Yeah, Cochran, no, you want to go back and see Mama. He'll be upset if he goes in there, but yeah, good to see him back up.
All right, delay the tongue lashing for 20 minutes. Maybe Mom and Dad aren't happy. And he had a good run going. That'll move Deegan back up to 7th now. Here's Vial in 4th. So let's see what happens. Does Shimoda go back after Masterpool? Does Vial catch Shimoda? And what if Deegan was able to get all the way to Vial? And remember, Vial and Hymas are behind Deegan. They are tied for 2nd in points, so they need to make up ground with these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if I'm Tom Vial, like, I need to regroup and go after the guys in front of me. Yeah, Hayden is behind him, and you know at some point Hayden's coming, but you don't want to. Chance Hymas is growing confidence right now, and Chance, although Hayden Deegan might be Tom's biggest competition, Chance is starting to grow into that point as well, and so he's going to have a problem. But Hayden Deegan's done a good job at getting past. Now he can kind of let the track start to form and see if he can just start getting some good laps and get in a good rhythm and see if he can close the gap down to at least Vial.
This track looks brutal, James. Straight up.
It's brutal, and the reason these guys might be struggling because it was night and day difference than it was in practice, and now for these, they're up to speed, but it's super slippery, and you got to wonder tire choice as we're watching Ty and Joe Shimoda go back after them. Wonder guys who made the right tire choice, and that's what I was saying in the keys to the moto. You kind of got to guess right, because as you can see on this side of the track, it's really loose and muddy, but then on other parts you got all these ruts and it's a hard pack. So whatever team got the bike set up right is probably going to be the most comfortable riders out here today so far.
Now listen in as I go uphill here. And then back to the top. Shimoda definitely closing back up on Masterpool. This is tough.
Yeah.
And look, they're not that far behind. Hymas, it looked like he was about to set sail, got them back in their sights.
Yeah, I was just thinking that we saw Ty look like things were starting to happen to him quick once Chance got around him. Then you had Joe all over him. So I wonder, did Chance make a mistake or did Ty pick up the pace? Either way, we see how things are spread out, and I believe a lot of that just comes down if a guy makes a mistake in the corner. We see guys getting off balance, and as I mentioned, there's no flat parts around this racetrack, so being off balance in the corner, you lose a lot of time. So that could be the cat and mouse, but I think Ty is starting to pick up the pace, as you can see right there.
As both things happened, Masterpool put in his best lap of the moto so far in the previous lap, and then Hymas was about a second off of his best lap. Probably made the mistake. Let's send it down to JT.
Well, what a difference a year makes for Chance Hymas. This is exactly the same position he was in the first moto in 2023 as we opened the show with. The difference is Chance Hymas has confidence now. He's got to trust in himself and believe that he's supposed to win these motos. I think last year when he was in this spot, it was a great moto. He was kind of feeling things out, but I don't think he thought he should be the moto winner. And the likes of Hunter Lawrence, the likes of Justin Cooper, that's all changed now. He's second place in points. He has to take advantage of these opportunities, hold off Ty Masterpool, and make good on this moto.
Yeah, as you can see, Chance going through that section, it looked like he was rolling around. He's been, just like his teammates in the 450 class, very patient. So he takes his time through these sections, but when he does that, he allows guys like Ty Masterpool and Joe Shimoda to close up the gap. So Chance is going to have to continue to learn. There's going to be certain places to do that at, because you're giving these other guys confidence. And, you know, so far Chance is doing a great job, but he's keeping these guys in the game right now.
Yeah, he talked about that last week, using the speed when needed. He said he has two of the best in the game with the Lawrence brothers to learn that from. As we see now, Shimoda has caught back up to Masterpool, and that's what Hymas is trying to do. Manage the race, not just sprint. Just figure out the situation and adapt to it. And it's a good trio right now. It is darn close. The other box we're showing you Deegan. I believe Boumer stalled, so that'll move Deegan to 6th, and he's challenging Ryder DeFrancisco.
Yeah, hey, Deegan, he's all out war. And now he's starting to close that gap. He was down to 17 seconds, and now it's getting into 15. Nice pass.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah, and you can tell Ryder D, he tries making Hayden square it up and slam on the brakes, but he went just a little too far, and Hayden was able to square him up and get around him. But this is the part about Mount Morris. There's a lot of lines down there. Hayden, he's rolling now.
Well, he's going to have a big gap to make up. This is the critical juncture for Deegan. He's cleared a lot of the traffic. He's 5th. But can he get all the way up to Vial, Shimoda, Masterpool, and Hymas, who are up ahead?
Yeah, well, the one thing where we saw with Hayden, what he was able to do that first moto in Hangtown was allow these guys, no matter, as long as he's on the track, if he's within 10 seconds, those guys are going to start riding behind him. So if Hayden can close in JT, he's going to have the hands full. All these guys will.
Yeah, and you watch Yoshimoto here. He's starting to find the rhythm and the pace that we've been looking for, right, all season long. We've been talking about how he's got to start more quickly because we know that he can do exactly what he's doing. Last week he talked about it's on the podium in a moto. He's finding things, getting more comfortable with the motorcycle. This is the type of thing, and most importantly here, you saw him up front on the first lap. That has been the one thing that has eluded him, both in Monster Energy Supercross and Pro Motocross, is that first lap positioning. He can absolutely win these races if he starts right here.
And JT, to piggyback off of that and talking to the team, they said he finally has a good base. He got a 6th, a 5th, a 4th overall. It's fine-tuning. But more importantly, we talk about Yoshimoto doing things a little bit differently. Well, that also comes down to the language, the communication that the team has had with him. They're now fine-tuning what it means when he says something doesn't feel right. The team can now interpret it and decide what that really means. And that's actually taken a bit of time for the team and Joe to get comfortable. And that lingo part of the game is coming together as well.
Thanks, Kate. I'll tell you what's coming together. Ty Masterpool just took the lead from Chance Hymas, who struggled in that rut down in the bottom, James.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier, just making a mistake in a rut. You saw how much time he...
Whoa!
Hey, get out of my way. Get out of my way, son. I'm going to the front. I am in the front, and I see somebody's bike smoking. Is that a lap rider?
I think the smoke did come from the lap rider, but Hymas almost getting swallowed up now by Shimoda. What has gone wrong here?
Yeah, it looked like Chance, as I was mentioning earlier, he was very patient, and I wonder, the track is, even though it was somewhat the same as last weekend as far as the ruts, Chance might be dealing with, one, a setup issue or just tightness, and I think for him, he's going to have to regroup and try to go after these guys. And maybe since it's Yoshimoto, he can get a little bit comfortable, but that was a last half a lap was a mistake. And that's Yoshimoto's bike that's smoking right here.
Oh, okay. Hey, we're halfway through the moto. Want to remind you that Monster Energy available now at BFS Foods. Masterpool's career best is a 3rd at Redbud 250 Moto 1 in 2020. And there you see, yeah, steam or smoke a little bit out of the number 30.
Yeah, like they say, as long as it's smoking.
Oh, Masterpool almost tagged another lap rider, almost went down.
Caution alert, Ty's in the lead. You better watch out all these lap riders. And that's really just comes down, I mean, these guys are struggling. We see the leaders making mistakes. So all the guys in the field, it's just hard. They're just riding a straight line. And Yoshimoto looks like he's trying to go back after Ty. I think Joe has a little bit more pace than Ty, but again, he's just going to have to find a clean spot to get around him.
With these conditions here, these long ruts and this soft stuff, do we see more variance? Hymas was great early. Now he's dropped off a little bit. Do you tend to see a little more of that ebb and flow?
Yeah, you're going to see that as we're watching Chance back up on Joe. As I mentioned, like one mistake in the corner, you just lose a lot of time, and especially the way this track is, it's always, the ground's always falling away from you. So these guys have a hard time, you know, getting the balance, and you can see them getting in here. The front end's pushing, the rear is pushing, and that just comes down to when you have wet tracks and a track like this that has so many different conditions on the same racetrack, just makes it really difficult for these guys.
And Deegan, fastest rider on track right now, is in the 2017s, a little bit quicker even than Shimoda there with the 2:17.9, Deegan a 2:17.1.
Yeah, Chance is really struggling in that section right there. And I wonder if it's just something with the lights, I mean the vision, because that is a lot of shadows in that. And they go from a really sunny part of the track to one of the most difficult. And that particular section down there is really sticky. So it is a lot different than any part of the racetrack because of the way this track flows and the water goes.
And they give it the motorsport.com whole shot replay. It's settled down for the moment with Masterpool opening it up. A little over 2 seconds on Shimoda. We can show you the start again here.
Well, we talked about tire setup and how critical this start was. The guy who started out front, these guys, they've been out here for a while, and you can see just getting around lap riders is the difficult part. So guys who are fighting for the win, but it was
Romano, I believe, yes.
Romano with that hole shot. Nice start, JT.
Yeah, a couple of things. I was just reading Yoshimoto's pit board. He saw the bike just smoking because it's hot. The pit board said, get off the clutch. Basically, he's riding the clutch through these ruts, making the bike too hot. You're seeing it come out the overflow there, so they're trying to relay that message to him. Another thing I noticed here that I think where Hymas was losing time is you see these riders starting to use the outsides. You see Hymas following Shimoda there. That's what James was talking about at the opening of the show about the changing track, and you're going to have to predict the future. You're going to have to understand how the track's going to evolve and how lines evolve, because the track is drying out, and a line that didn't work on the first lap or vice versa did may not or may work at halfway. So it's something these guys have got to keep an eye on. They've got to keep an open mind as to how they approach this racetrack, because the lap times are going to differ greatly.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to elaborate on that more, usually when guys out front, the leader, they're like, why should I change anything if, you know, I'm out front? But as we were talking, this track does change, and they have to be okay with, you know, changing when things are working. And I think that's what Chance is struggling on, because as we see, he closes back in on Joe, but then he gets to this certain part, he loses that time. But I'm looking at the time and scoring, Jason. It looks like Ryder D's ahead of Tom Vial. And
yes, and Deegan as well.
Yeah, so I'm assuming Tom must have went down, because he had about 5 seconds over Hayden. And now,
2:37 lap time. And this section went from bad to worse for Hymas.
Yep.
We were looking at Vial's lap, about 20 seconds off of when he normally runs, and then Hymas nearly got stuck down there.
Yeah, that's 4 laps in a row that Chance has been struggling there. So we've been watching him close in on Joe, but that was probably the worst time besides when he got passed by those guys. And you can see he lost 4 seconds in that one corner.
Wow, things changing in a hurry, and to the good for Masterpool, who's opened it up to 4 seconds now. Has never won a moto. Again, his career best is a third. Hasn't led laps for 2 years. Going back again to Redbud 2 seasons ago. See if Hymas can rebuild himself. I get worried sometimes. I watch Hymas. He had a torn ACL last year, as JT mentioned. Then tore it again, and he's just riding through it. It's a tough track.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough track. I think Chance, as he evolves as a rider, he'll realize that, you know, last weekend, the track stayed the same the whole race, that second moto, and he looked like he did the first lap. He looked like that at the end. Or, as JT was mentioning, this track is changing quite a bit. So Chance is going to have to adjust to that and change his lines up, and I think that's what he's struggling with right now.
The Super Motocross Playoffs offer some of the most unique fan experiences in professional sports. To find out more, go to feldexperiences.com and become a part of the action. And those SMX playoffs will begin September 7th, ZMAX Dragway, Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Then we'll go racing Texas Motor Speedway and the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, September 14th and 21st. Who will be peaking in time for the playoffs? We can't even figure out minute to minute in this Pro Motocross Championship. Yeah. Halfway through this one, it seemed like it was Chance Hymas' race to lose, and now he's 8 seconds back in third.
Yeah, when you're watching Chance, as I said, he's very patient, very smooth on the bike, and sometimes when guys who are like that, things are going right, they go right. When things aren't going and they get a little tense, it's hard for them to change, because now they got to be okay with the bike moving around, and I think it looks like Chance is riding a little tight. So I wonder, he was fine those first few laps, but then this mistake in this corner, now he's riding tight. He's same thing again, just off balance, and if he doesn't watch out, he's going to have Hayden Deegan right on him as well.
And let's look in on Deegan, who's fourth. We mentioned that Vial lost some spots, so Vial back to 7th, so it's still a good moto. Deegan, points-wise, at least over Vial. He would love to dig for a podium, but we're seeing that ebb and flow of lap times again. Deegan had the 2:17, then he had a 2:19, now a 2:16, and in the end, he's still about 15 seconds back.
Yeah, that's because Ty Masterpool has been running the fastest lap time of anybody, including Hayden Deegan on the racetrack. So Ty's not only out front, he is actually going very fast as well. Although Hayden just ran a 2:15 his last lap, but he probably ran that because now he can start to see Chance, and as mechanics tell him, there's somebody to look for. And when a rider can get you in sight, they just start going faster. It's having that gauge, and Hayden's got his V in on his mindset for Chance Hyman at this point.
Oh, that would be huge if Deegan could come from the bad start to catch Hymas, as you talk so much about that confidence, and it looked like for a moment Hymas was seizing that.
Yeah, Chance was. I mean, he was in a great spot, and so hopefully for him, he could just chalk it up to the track's difficult, I'm tight, still live on what happened last weekend, because look, the kid's in third place still. It's still a great moto. Just unfortunate for him, Hayden Deegan starting to come, and the one guy that doesn't need any confidence will get some confidence with you if he's able to make a round, but Chance is starting to recover a little bit and see if he can hold that gap.
6 minutes and 2 laps to go. Here's a Thor 250 team check-in. This is the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team. They all wear the Thor gear. Deegan 4th. Jordan Smith 9th. Romano, who had the motorsport.com whole shot, is 12th. Dax Bennick is 16th right now. It's a battle of the stopwatch. See if Deegan can get to the lead.
Yeah, I've been cheating a little bit, looking at time scoring. And I just looked up, and Ty Masterpool had 5 seconds over Joe earlier in the beginning part of his lap, and now it's down to 3. So it must be mistakes or maybe a lap rider, but just showed you how much time can be gained or lost about a simple mistake, as we saw it play out with Chance Hymas.
Yeah, and I said Deegan get to the lead. I think it's more of that group. We've seen Hymas, Shimoda, and Masterpool go back and forth. Can Deegan bridge that gap? A lot of it will come down to the 48 of Hymas. And we'll see what his lap is the next time around. 2:18. That wasn't too shabby, but there is Deegan. Woo!
There was Hayden. Yeah, be a little OJ at that point. And yeah, now he's starting to get in. He can see Chance, and Chance actually started picking up the pace a little bit. Must have kind of found the floor or just got through that one section. As I say that, then I can start seeing him. But Hayden has him in sight, and Chance is going to have about 8 minutes worth of that number 38, because you know Hayden ain't going anywhere.
Now, I say it every week on this show. The real calling card of Deegan is the grit. He is just a warrior, man. He just, as he says, sends it. He never gets tired. And you know when he's behind you late in the race, it's going to be tough. And that's what he's trying to do. He's got it down to 2 seconds on Hymas.
Yeah, he's coming too. And as you can see, Hayden switching up the lines. He's going to outside. Look how much time he gains on Chance right there. And I think Chance is, the old terminology, you get stuck in a rut. Well, sometimes when Chance, as he makes another mistake right there, he's riding definitely tight, and he has to flow up, JT.
Yeah, and it's almost like a tunnel vision as you see Hayden Deegan. I think about it like a horse having blinders on, right? You're not looking around. You're not looking for new lines. You're only looking right in front of you using the same line that you have been. Well, guess what? All these lines are coming into play. That's how Hayden Deegan's turning 2:15 lap times. That's why Chance Hymas has dropped down to a 2:18. So it's going to be something I'm sure they talk about mid-moto. And it's another, just chalk it up to a learning moment. As the track changes, your approach has to change as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was pointing to, that stuck in the rut moment, because it looks like Chance was just stuck in those same lines, because clearly he's going fast, and if he's not making mistakes in some of the corners, his line selection is allowing these guys to close it in on him, not necessarily his riding. So they'll change that, and it'd be a huge confidence booster if somehow he can hold Hayden Deegan off. It'd be like a win for him, to be honest, having Hayden this close to him, but that's going to be a hard challenge to be able to do that.
Well, we're coming up to 2 different junctures here. First, the uphill that's been really tough on Hymas, and then the top of that is where Deegan tried to uncork the triple and case pretty hard. Oh, lap traffic down. Let's see Hymas on the left if he can be clean through these ruts.
Yeah, that was a good run by Chance. Like he got in, the balance was pretty good. You can see now, look at the gap. And as I was mentioning, it's not necessarily Chance's riding, it's more of his line selection. It looked like he cleaned that up, but he's starting to fall into the danger zone.
Oh boy, and that's for a moto podium. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. 2 minutes, 44 seconds, and 2 laps away. Could Ty Masterpool get his first career moto win? And he's a fill-in rider. A lot of injuries with Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki. He got the call on Thursday, 48 hours before the season opener. He'd been riding a 450. He keeps telling us he has to learn to shift more, keep the 250 revving. He's got it figured out right now. Let's send it to Katie.
Yeah, earlier today, he said that this bike was wonderful, which I thought was quite a unique adjective to use to describe the bike. But more, I was just over at Jason Anderson in the Monster Energy Kawasaki camp. He was riding the bike. They were watching the race, and everyone was so excited to see another member of the green team out riding, knowing that even as a fill-in guy, he's leading the race. And it's big news over for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and great for the family as well. They have been through it in this game. Here's that battle. Deegan versus Hymas.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. Hayden Deegan's not, the race victory still can happen for Hayden Deegan, because now he's coming, and you got Joe Shimoda and Chance Hymas, which credit to him. He's starting to recover. Now he closed back in on his teammate, but they're only 7 seconds down to Ty Masterpool, Hayden that is, and you can see how much time can be gained or lost. So if Hayden can put in some laps and he doesn't get caught up with these guys, Ty has a mistake, he might be right there.
I'm shaking my head. Hymas has come back to life. That's Shimoda now right in front of him, and he is absolutely flying. He won second.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Chance was riding good. It was his line selection. So maybe his mechanic put on the pit board, change up the lines, and we really see this one. There's really one area of the racetrack that Chance was struggling on, and that's coming up here. So let's see if he can get through that because now he's riding really good. I mean, as he's been doing the whole time. But I wonder if he just found that out or somehow his mechanic put on the pit board. Either way, Chance is looking good.
It's great racing. 3 riders fighting for second. Shimoda on the left. In the middle is Hymas. Deegan cuts to the inside. Oh, and he's right on Hymas now.
Yeah, he's right on, and Hayden's tripling this thing, and Chance does it. Let's see if he goes up the inside.
Oh, Hymas able to hold him off. Big battle downhill.
Yeah, this is game of chicken right here. Who's going to let off the brakes? And I like this outside from Hayden. He's going to have way more momentum than Chance. There it is.
Oh, made it look easy with that outside line, James, and he looked back.
Gave him a little look back. I don't know what that was. Maybe he's just checking to see if he fell over, but Joe Shimoda, they're in the danger zone, and Tom Masterpool's right in front of him.
Could it happen? Could Deegan come all the way back to win this one, and the clock didn't expire? There's still 3 laps to go. 2 laps card will come out the next time around.
Now, with Hayden, this was one riders, we saw it happen a couple weeks ago with Chase Sexton. When guys get in the zone, like, nice fight back from Chance. When guys get in the zone like Hayden, he will not be stopped. So you can see these times gaining, because he was 7 seconds down the last lap, and now he's within 4.
Oh, Deegan's hanging out, but like we saw with Sexton 2 weeks ago, you save those things when you're feeling it like this. He's challenging Shimoda.
Yeah, that's only, it's going to make him more hyped up and make him go a lot faster. And in the meantime, they're closing in on Ty Masterpool as well. So even though that mistake, Hayden's feeling it. And Joe, nice recovery by him. And Chance was right there, and he must have lost some time. But as I said, this race wasn't over.
Deegan doing it all right now. He ran them down at Hangtown Moto 1, but this is even further back, and they had 15 seconds on him around the halfway mark of this moto. It is not over. 2.5 to go.
Yeah, and now Ty stretched that lead back out, so you can really tell maybe a mistake, and that's why, again, I felt like this race wasn't over, because these guys are losing chunks of time, not a half a second. They're losing seconds, and Hayden Deegan starting to feel it. He can feel it. It's going to go up the inside of Joe.
Yeah, he tried this inside line a lap ago. Joe's going to be on the inside next. Can the 30 fight him off?
Oh, nice heads-up riding by Hayden. If he would have kept on the gas, he would have ran into Joe. So smart move by Hayden. Let's see if he can get on the outside of Joe and maybe have some more momentum going up this hill, which looks like Joe's going to be stuck behind his lapper. There you go.
Boom. That's all it took. Lap traffic, and Deegan, well, he's stuck behind him too. Can't jump that triple. But it's enough for second place.
What a move. What a race. And he's going after Ty. Trust me. He sees that green Kawasaki in front, and this would be an incredible comeback if he can make this happen.
And this crowd is starting to stir. Deegan's a fan favorite wherever we go. He has the huge following as he built his YouTube channel up as he progressed through the ranks as an amateur. A lot of people, I believe, come into the races just to see him. And to see him come from this far back to maybe win, they are going to go nuts.
Hayden Deegan's going to be on Ty in a couple corners right here. He can feel it. If he can stay up, and Joe's not giving up as well, but they're starting to fall into the danger zone, as I mentioned earlier. I like this outside line. Just keeps Hayden's a lot of momentum up, and when these guys are spinning on a track like this, whew, he's got great lines.
Jumping that tunnel. Deegan within 2 seconds of the lead. We were talking about points racing at the beginning of this. Now he's going for the win.
Nice comeback. And one luxury, since Hayden did get a bad start, he had to figure out all the different lines around this racetrack. And right now, Hayden has way better lines than everyone. I think it's just because he came up through the pack. As you can see, he's running more outsides. And there's some parts of the racetrack that he's losing time. But what I like about Hayden, he's putting his whole track together. And I think overall, it ends up being better for him.
Another example of this grit and no quit in the 38.
Now where Hayden was able to get around Joe, he's been very quick here, which is the section upcoming. And now he can see Ty. Ty's got a lap and a half to hold on. We're going to find out. But Hayden goes up the inside, basically shortens up the racetrack. And Joe's going to fill in. Excuse me, Ty's going to see that blue number 38 coming in.
Now, I said the fans would love it if Deegan could pull this off, but it's a great story for Masterpool as well. Going from privateer to getting the shot of the factory team to deliver a moto win would be fantastic. You know people are cheering for that as well, and we're 1 lap away from settling it.
Yeah, both of them. Still the outside works out. If Ty doesn't figure that out, he'll get passed on the next lap. Has he overjumped that? All these guys have been overjumping that. Let's see what happens. Hayden goes down the outside.
Spring made moves earlier.
There's the move, people.
This could be it. Deegan. He's got the lead.
Way back, and you saw how much time the kid was able to make. Let's see if Ty can regroup. If he has a chance, he has to do it right now.
He's going to try it, James. Sending it up the inside, not enough.
And you know, this moto win would probably mean more to Ty than it would even Hayden, so you know he's going to give everything. Here it is. I like it.
Oh, he almost got there.
Hayden's been going outside. Ty's going to get on the inside. He might pass him, and then Hayden to go around the outside of him because of momentum, but still.
Ah, this is good stuff. Ty fought back, but Deegan's starting to stretch it now.
Now, Ty's had some better lines here. He's been going on the inside, making the track shorter. Let's see if he can close up on it. If he doesn't make a mistake, then maybe he can stay as Hayden does. Down this next inside. Ty's been going inside, making the track a little bit shorter. Hayden's going outside.
A year ago, Deegan was in the opposite spot. He led most of this first moto, and RJ Hampshire ripped it away at the end. Master pulls back. Now can Deegan hold on? Masterpool's not giving up, James.
No, he ain't giving up, and this might be the inside line right here.
Oh, drag race down the hill.
Now let's see if Ty can square him up. I like this outside to inside line. Here it is. Oh, he stayed outside from him.
Oh, Masterpool greased that corner. Gonna get him to the inside as the track bends to the right. Deegan covers it. Masterpool is the inside. Here's the triple.
Here it is.
Perfect.
It's a game of chicken right here. Hayden's going to block that inside. He's going to leave it open. Ty jumps down.
Last turn, or 2 to go, but this is where we've seen passes. Masterpool not clean to the ruts. Here it is, Deegan from mid-pack wins. Unbelievable. Halfway through is 15 seconds back.
Statement ride.
3 overall wins in a row coming in. He did have the comeback at Hangtown, but this is next level.
And then number 5 spot.